we can go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. My name is Joy. I'm working as one of the tech leads for GDSC, and I will also be conducting this workshop. Please feel free to put down any questions that you have during the demo in the chat. We would be able to answer them. And Jiang, if you can take a look at the chat just to see if there's any confusions, concerns, awesome. All right. If anybody's interested in turning on their cameras and their mics, feel free to do so. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So what this is fundamentally, it's a holistic overview of Git. So it's not necessarily just focused on so we're going from basics, learning about Git add, Git commit, Git push, what exactly Git is holistically, and then moving forward towards how exactly we can go ahead and use Git when you're working in collaboration with other people, when we're working on applications, and how exactly we can use it when we're doing open source contributions, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. And please do react, thumbs up, anything. Just for purposes of reaction, so I know that we're all okay when I ask questions. We can do polls and whatnot along the way as well. Jean, would you be able to ask a super quick poll as to how many people actually have Git installed on their machines? I'm going to go ahead and start sharing screen. Okay. Awesome. Hopefully everybody can see that. I do have notes in the little bottom slides down, so I'm just not going to fully do a presentation. But yeah, so if you could quickly fill out that poll so we can get a sense of where exactly everybody is in their Git journey. Okay, so what I'm going to do is for, yeah, sure. You should be able to use an editor, something like Nano, so you can follow along. So you can use it, but it would be nice if you had something on your editor so we can, when we're actually altering files, you're able to do that. For those of us who do not have Git installed, please follow these instructions, and you should be able to have it within the next 2-3 minutes. Super simple, easy to do. Okay, awesome. So let's talk a little bit about what exactly Git is, okay? So one of the things that's very important to understand is that you have two things when you're working with Git. One of them is a remote repository. A remote repository is something that's stored separately. It's the main system fundamentally. And then you have your local repositories where you can alter changes. And unless you push your changes all the way to the remote repository, which is hosted on the main server, none of those changes are fundamentally altering the main repository. So if you were to go ahead and take code, and in that code you went ahead and altered, so basically if you had your main server, you went ahead and cloned that repository, you'd have a local version of that repository. And then you'd be able to make changes to it. When you made changes to it, you would have to add all your changes and then commit your changes to the local repository. And once that's done, once your changes are on your repository, this is the local version, then you can push it on to the main server or the repository that's hosted on the main server. Because multiple people can create their own local repositories, this is considered to be a distributed version control system. Okay, let's keep moving forward. So there's two ways by which you can interact with Git. Okay, so Git is just the software. The way by which we use this is completely up to us. One of the ways by which you can actually use Git is the command line interface. Okay, so that's the command line interface, your terminal. If you're using Mac or Windows, you should be able to install Git You'll also be given the bash terminal along with Git when you install it on Windows. Okay? Mac naturally comes with the bash terminal, so you'll be able to use it directly on your command prompt, as is the case with Windows, where you'll be able to use it on command prompt when you're installing Git. You'll see an option for it to be something that you can access all across your terminals. So yeah, and what that software does basically is that it allows you to then use Git commands. Once you install Git, you're able to use it all across your terminals. GitHub, on the other hand, is basically a Git repository hosting service. So it's fundamentally an interface. If you don't like working with command lines, you can do a lot more with command lines. But it's basically a graphical interface for interacting with your code, making changes to it, altering it, all that kind of stuff. Okay, how is everybody feeling so far? Is this stuff that we've known? Is this something that's new to us? You can just maybe reply in the chat, say it's an okay pace or it's too fast kind of thing. And if you can also comment, yeah. Are we doing okay so far? Everything makes sense? It's okay, sweet. So let's move onwards. Okay, so we're going to actually do a quick little demo. If you've never used Git before, this is where you're going to reap the most amount of benefit because it's going to give you a bit of an understanding of how exactly Git works. For those of us who are more advanced, just wait a couple more minutes and we're going to be moving on to how exactly Git flow works, and we're going to take a look at other commands that will help you work in collaboration with others. Okay, for now, let's go ahead and take a look at GitHub. Okay, so I'm going to quickly open up my GitHub account. When you log into GitHub, these are the set of things that you're going to see. So this is your GitHub account. This is a graphical interface by which you interact with Git. So here you'll see your recent repositories. You'll see a feed of things, not necessarily. I believe they're trying to make it more of a social networking service. Not sure how popular that is yet. But yeah, so the fundamental thing is that you'd be going here. Okay? You go ahead and click on your profile. You'll see these tabs. The most important one here in the drop-down menu is the one, your repositories. These will contain all the repositories that you have worked on. Okay. And your organizations are the ones that you're contributing to. So, and if you want to go, so if I were to go ahead and click on new, okay. I'd be able to create a new repository. I'm going to quickly, super quick, create one. We're going to call it Exploring Git. You can add a description if you'd like. You can make your repository public or private as you see fit. We're going to keep this public. There's nothing that we want to not share with people here. If anything, it's going to be more nonsensical information that's going to be difficult to interpret, so it's okay. You can choose to add a git ignore file, and you can also add a license. What these licenses are, they tell other individuals how exactly they can use your code that you have on your Git repository. So if you'd like to add an MIT license, that means that there's very limited restriction to how people can use your code. They can clone it, they can integrate it with their own code, all that kind of stuff. So, and you can also just have none. And in this case, it doesn't really matter because none of the content here is going to be, it's just for demoing purposes. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new repository. So now we have just a readme.md file, and the readme.md is displayed here. This is where you tell people how exactly they can contribute into your code. That's one thing that you tell them. How exactly they can go ahead and install your code, run your code on their machines, things like that. Your endpoints that you're using, if you're familiar with that terminology, any information that we need people to know before they can actually use your code, we would put in the README file. Okay? This is the basic interface. For Git clone, so you'd go here, if you want to quickly go ahead and clone the repository. We're going to do that super quick. So let's go here. So I'm going to open up Git Bash. Okay. Git Bash is the So it's the terminal. It's an emulation layer that comes with Git on Windows when you install it. So it allows you to interact with, sorry, muted myself, but it allows you to interact with Git, okay? So I'm going to quickly go ahead and Git clone my repository. So what we're doing right now here, a lot of you, I assume, have a sense of this, is that we have a remote repository where we saw that on GitHub. We created one together. We're going to clone that so that we can work on it locally. So that's what Git clone does. It allows us to create a local repository like you saw earlier in the diagram. Okay, so this is what we're creating right now. So Git clone, we clone everything up, and there we go, exploring Git. We can use Linux commands here as well. So, oh, sorry, ls, so it tells you what's exactly, I should probably, sorry. So you want to git bash into the, you want to go ahead and git bash here, and you're going to do super quick, you're going to do something like git clone, the URL that you took for your remote, I think I may not have copy pasted it. Oh. Go here. Oh, sorry, I cloned it. I forgot about that. So we're already in that. Okay, so as everybody good so far to this point that you've created a local repository and you've cloned it. Okay, it's just empty right now. Can you go ahead and please put something in the chat? A happy face, a sad face, and a thumbs up, something from everyone, just so we can get some participation. I know how people are feeling on the other end. If it's seeming a little too slow paced, that's okay. We're going to move on to other stuff. So can I get a thumbs up or? Wonderful. So what we have so far is our file. So now let's say we want to go ahead and alter something in this. Okay. Awesome. Yes, please put in those reactions. It helps me figure out that there's some sense of validation of the fact that people are following along. It feels great. Honestly. So I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and alter a file. Okay. Nano is, if you haven't used it before, just an editor that's provided. It's like a text editor that's provided within your Git bash. So I'm going to call my file, let's say file1. Yeah. I'm going to add in hello and file1. Smiley face. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and save that. Yes, please. There we go. So I have file1 created. I've added something into my local repository. Okay. Now I want to make sure that these changes get staged. Okay. And what that means is that I want these changes staged such that it tells Git that we're going to be committing these onto the main repository, okay, or to the central one. So I'm going to git add everything. You can also just do something like git add the file name. And I'm going to go ahead and commit this with a nice message. Okay. Changes added. Yeah. Make your commit messages as comprehensive as possible. It helps other contributors figure out how exactly they want to. It helps them figure out what exactly you've done. Okay. Now they're committed. Okay. It's still in your local. We want to push this up to the central. So we're going to do git push to push all your changes to the main repository. Okay. And there you go. Now, if I were to go, now these are synced up. So you'll realize that your terminal here is very much, your GitHub is synced up with your terminal. So you should be able to see the file, and great, file1 appears here. Changes added, that's your commit message when exactly it happened, okay? Awesome, okay, let's keep moving onwards. So I think we've done all of this. Staging environment, we talked about this. So staging environment, when you're working on your repository, your working directory, it's that, stage files are files that are ready to be committed to the repository you're working on. You will learn more about commits shortly. And the commits here, commits are basically save points, okay? This is something that's, I feel, is not, so commits are basically save points. Every time you do something to your branch, anytime you change something on your branch, it's saved, okay? In the moment that it's saved, it becomes part of your Git history and your Git log. It shows that, okay, this individual went ahead and made change with this commit message at this time. And you can actually see that. We altered this specific repository on the main branch, okay? And I committed a change, right? I committed a change to the main branch. And it shows that. So this is the initial commit where I cloned my repository. And this is the change that says, oh, okay, so this individual has added a change. This is the individual that's done it at this specific time. And that's all that says. And here's a specific, so this, you can think of this as a key. This is individual for every commit that's made. It's unique to every commit that's made. So you can track back your commits. So that's the basis of Git. I'm writing a more towards, can you guys give reactions on your screens that tells me that you're doing okay, that we're ready to move on? Let's see. Or just put a smiley face into the chat. I think so. Mm-hmm. Also, please don't feel shy to ask questions. So far, so good, I suppose. How many of us know about branches? Jam, would you be able to put that into a polling? Like, how many of us know about branches and Git flow? Does anybody have any questions about this? Because I know we have 3 individuals who've never used Git before. So if you have any questions, please feel free to voice them. Or DM me, that's also okay. How do you know if Git is synced? So in terms of whether or not the changes that you made on your local repository have been synced to the central, the remote repository, is that what we're asking? Yes, beautiful. So so there's 2 ways by which you can tell that. One of them is that when you go on to where your central repository is hosted, which is in this case GitHub, has that change been seen? And in our case, yes, it has been seen because it says file 1 change added 3 minutes ago. We can see the change occur on the centralized repository. Okay, that's one way of telling. The other way is you can actually see the commit go through as well as the push. So when it goes through, you will get, so in our, where did our bash terminal go? Okay. When you do git log, you will see that that specific change that you made with that specific commit message is actually there. Git log is a way to see all your commits. And so it says that this commit has gone through. And when you do git push, it shows that it's successfully. Now this commit has been pushed to successfully to the repository. So when the push command happens, there's no error. And in our case, we didn't get an error. And then we could also see it on GitHub. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay, wonderful. So let's take a look-see. So vast majority of the individuals say that they're James, does 1 signify most or least familiarity?
I suppose it least. I suppose.
Least, okay. I also assumed that. Did everybody also make the same assumption?
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. Can you just throw a little something in the chat that tells me that's what you assumed as well? Okay, sweet. Please don't hesitate to put stuff into the chat. It's a nice way for me to interact with you and it feels more human. Let's keep going. So this is great. And that means we're going to explore some territory together, which is going to be new for the vast majority of us here, or at least half of us, if not more. So here's the concept of branches. How branches operate is that everybody needs specific space in which to work, okay, without altering the code in the main branch. The main branch is usually reserved and is fundamentally reserved. So your master branch or your main branch is almost always reserved for production purposes. Okay? Anytime you want to your code should not have any bugs if it's in the main branch, okay? Then that means that your development should never be pushing code to the main branch. You should be working in your own private location where all your changes are being tracked. And when you're satisfied with those changes, you push them up into the main branch or the master branch, okay? So one way by which you can do that is by actually creating feature branches, okay? So what often happens in a proper Git workflow is that you would have feature branches that are working on separating features. If I'm building a calendar app, maybe one individual is working on the calendar component of it. The other one is working on the task component of it. These are separate, segregated features, which will come together at some point, but right now they need to be developed individually. So you develop them in the feature branch, and then everybody commits their changes to the developing branch, after which point, all the changes that have been committed to the developing branch by all the contributors go ahead and get committed into the master branch. And we make sure that all the code on the master branch is absolutely functional, okay? You should never be putting broken code into the master branch. Please reply with a thumbs up, thumbs down that tells me that you're doing just okay with that concept, because that's what the remainder of the content is actually based on. Okay. And you also have to put like no's as well. It's okay if you don't understand. Feel free to stick around after the workshop as well if you have any questions. And awesome, thank you so much for putting those in. Okay, so what we're going to do is take a look at some commands by which we can create our branches first, okay? And then we're going to talk about making changes in those branches and having those changes be merged into our main branch. Okay, where operate feature is local. So branches are not a concept of local or central. Your branches you will be able to see on the central repository. You will be able to see them on GitHub. Yes, absolutely. Oh God, are we also recording, GA? I think, yes, we are. Oh, okay, that is good, because I forgot. Yes, so you will have access to both the PowerPoint as well as the recording, okay? And yes, so feature is not a matter of it's going to be something that's operating under a central, local or not local. It's just a different workspace in which you will be working on, and you can access that within your local repository, as well as in your centralized repository. And we'll take a look at that, okay? Does that make sense? Okay, fantastic. Awesome. So the command for that is git branch, okay? I git branch. And first of all, this is going to show me all the branches that we have. Okay, right now we only have the main branch, and it shows that. Okay, I want to create a new branch. I'm going to call git branch again. Yeah, that's the command for it. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is name the branch. So I want to name my branch, let's say feature 1. Or maybe I can name it after myself, just because my name is nice and short. So if I do git branch joy, and I do git branch, oh, wowza, we have our branch right here. Okay. The other thing I'm going to tell you is how exactly to move between branches. Okay. So if I want to leave my main branch or main branch, so I could go into my joy branch, because this asterisk, this pretty little asterisk right here tells me which branch I'm in. I want to go ahead and leave this branch. I'm going to do git checkout. Okay. And I'm going to name my branch, whichever one I want to leave into. Okay, sweet. I just switched to my joy branch. So anything that I'm going to do from here on outwards, all those changes I'm going to make are going to happen in the joy branch. Are we okay? Can I get some reactions, please? Fantastic. Okay. No, awesome sauce. I like the smiley. So now that we have that set up, the other thing I'm going to talk about is git log. Okay, just so you can see, we talked about it a little earlier, but your git log is going to say all the changes that you've made. Anytime you make a commit, you do git log, you're able to see those specific commits that you've made. Okay, this is going to be a central idea that we're going to work with while we're learning about all these different commands. Okay, so let's go ahead and add another file into the joy branch, and you can name it after your own names, obviously. And let's call this new file 2. Okay, and I'm going to just put in I'm file 2. Okay, okay, dokes. Now if I do ls, oh, file 2 is right there. Fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to add, let's say, so I have my file 2, and what I want to do now is stage it so that right now it's in my working directory. Okay, this is what I'm working with. What I want to do is push my changes to the local repository. Okay, so I'm going to change them in. I'm going to put them in to my local repository. So I'm going to do git add. Okay, great. Oh, sorry. Periods, not commas. Okay. Git add. I'm going to do something like git commit -m, and I'm going to say added file 2. Okay. Now that I've done git commit -m added file 2, I'm going to commit that. Now this has been pushed into my local repository. Okay. Now what I want to do is push my branch up to the central repository with the changes that I made into it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is git push. Now let's see if that actually works. No, it does not work. Because what it's telling me is that I need to first go ahead and push my branch. Okay, I need to push my branch such that it can actually appear in my list of branches, okay, on the centralized repository. It's not there right now. So I'm going to go ahead and do exactly what's telling me. I'm going to push my branch all the way to the centralized repository along with the changes that have been made in that branch. Okay, I push that up, no problemo. I go here, I refresh. Awesome sauce. I see mine, right? So now we have 2 branches. So we're doing pretty good right now. So what I want to go ahead and do now that we have another branch and we've made changes to our other branch, we want to merge these changes into our main, okay? Because if you go here and you observe main, we just added file 2. Do you guys see this on main? Does anybody see file 2 on main? It's a pretty obvious answer. We don't, right? We don't. No, I'd be surprised if somebody said yes. But hey, I see them right here. Okay, so I need to make sure that I can take all the content here in my main branch because I just made a feature and that's called file 2 and I'm very satisfied with it. I'm ready to merge this feature. So how am I going to make sure that it goes from this branch all the way to this branch? Okay, and that's the command for git merge. So I'm going to go ahead and do git merge. Well, I can't do git merge yet. I need to check out to the branch. Okay, so we're going to do git checkout. I need to check out to the branch to which I want to merge my changes. What is the name of the branch to which I want to merge my changes? Can somebody put that in the chat, please? Right now I'm on the Joy branch. I've made a change to it. Exactly. Main. Absolutely. That's where we want to go. So I'm going to go git checkout main. Okey-dokes. Okay, now I'm in the main branch, because if I do git branch, that little asterisk tells me, oh, Joy, you're on the main branch now. Kudos. Okay, so far so good. Now what I'm going to do is git merge. Okay, what branch do I want to merge into main? Can somebody quickly throw that into chat, please? Let's take a look. See, Joy. Yeah, exactly. That's like 4 people yelling at my name at me for whatever reason. It's actually very nice. So I'm gonna git merge Joy, and what this does is it merges my branch Joy to me. Okay, awesome. And there we go. So it says that git merge Joy. So I went ahead and merged my changes, and they seem to be all here. Okay. That's pretty sweet. But anyway, so we've taken all our changes and we've put that onto me. Okay, they've been pushed onto me. So if I were to go ahead and take a look here, okay. So let's see. Yeah. So once you've merged them, you have to make sure that you push those merge changes, because you've merged on your local repository, right? You want to go ahead and make sure that once you've merged Joy onto main in your local repository, you do it in your central repository. How do you do it to your central? What command did we just use to put all our code to our centralized repository after we merged? Can somebody throw that in the chat, please? Awesome sauce. Push. That's exactly what we have to use. Okay. So now if I were to do git commit on my main branch, okay, so we just push something from Joy onto me. Okay. When I do, oh, sorry, not git commit, git log, it shows that right here, that added file 2. Okay. We went ahead and added file 2 onto me. Okay. We see our commit on me, which is great. Okay. The other thing that we're going to do is we can take a look at pull requests actually, but we've already merged, so we'll take a look at it right now. We're going to talk about different ways to merge before we move on to that. Okay. So there's several ways by which we can make changes onto your personal branch and put those changes such that they occur on the main branch. Okay, so there's 3 ways to do that. One of them is git merge. That's the one that we just did. One of them is git rebase. Okay. One of them is git merge -- squash. Okay, so we're going to take a look at what's the difference between any of these 3 ways if we were to go ahead and do them. Okay, so what git merge does, that it creates a merge commit. Okay, so merging creates a commit which combines the tip of the master branch and the tip of the feature branch into one commit. So this is called the merge commit. So any change that I went ahead and made, okay, it's going to appear as a new merge commit, and you'll be able to see that in your history, in your Git log. Okay. Now, so it's just going to take everything here, make it into one thing. It's going to integrate the changes from main and Joy and create a new merge commit. Okay, and you'll see that in your Git log. The other one is rebase. Okay, and what rebase does is that it's a rebase feature branch on master, then merge. So what it does basically is that here is your main branch, and here's the branch that we're working on. This is Joy, this is main. We made a whole bunch of changes to this branch, the feature branch. We want those features or things that we've added to then be able to go ahead and be added to the main branch. Okay. And so what this does is instead of showcasing it as a merge commit where joy is merging into main, what it does instead is shows it as the changes that you made here. It's going to be added as one of the commits. Then it's going to take another one of the commit changes. It's going to add it as another commit, and then it's going to take the other change and it's going to showcase it as another commit that's happening on your main branch. Okay, so in some sense, it's showcasing the main branch as if these commits that are coming from another branch are being made on the main right then and there. Okay. The merge commit, when you did merge, it actually shows you it's a merge commit. We're taking something from a separate branch and we're merging it onto main. Here, what it's showing instead is that all these commits, they're being made right then and there on the spot in the main branch. In some sense, it's altering your Git commit history. Okay. The next one is git merge -- squash. Okay. So what this basically does is if you were to take a look at your Git history when you're working, your Git log, when you're working here, you'll see all the other commits that you've made. You'll see all the commits that onto the main branch. Here, what you will see is that you're combining multiple commits into one. Okay. So all these commits that you have, all of them that you've made so far, they're just going to be added as one single commit such that you won't see any of these intermediate commits. It's just going to show as one single commit. It keeps your commit history a lot cleaner. Okay. I think we can move on to, we're actually a little ahead of time. We have about 10 minutes. So maybe what we can do is quickly go over a quick demo about how contributions work, forking and pull requests. And maybe after that, when we have time, if you have time, we can actually try these out and try to make it so that we can see our changes being rebased into the main branch, and we can see our changes being git merged / squashed into our main branch. Okay. Do we have any questions thus far? Is there something that we want to see? Any concerns, any curiosities? Or you can just give me a smiley face that says, I'm doing all right. This is a lot of content, and Git is often treated like, especially in second year, as if it's the easiest thing anybody's ever touched. But Git has ridiculous amounts of functionality that's almost never described. It can't be within a day or two, right? So it's okay if you have questions. Oh, smileys. And if you are nervous to ask in a group chat setting, please just DM the question and we can take a look at it together. I'm gonna give this 30 more seconds. I know there's like, how many of you in the room? Is any one of these merge techniques preferable? Okay, beautiful question. In fact, a very valid question. So let's actually go through them. If we were to take a look at this one, if I want to look at my commit history when I'm doing these ones, with git merge, what happens is that you'll see the commits that you made on your local branch plus a merge commit. So it kind of clutters your workspace. Okay, it slightly clutters your workspace because there's this additional merge commit that says, okay, you've merged onto the main branch, and it's just an additional commit. It's just to let the user know that you've merged. So it's good to be able to know where exactly you're merging from. Okay. With rebase, what happens is that you're rewriting the history. So in this case, when you're doing git rebase, what's happening is that on your branch, you're on your main branch, and it's as if all these changes that were actually made on your local branch were just made on your main branch. So it's a little what's it called? A little misdirecting, because those weren't made necessarily on the main branch. And then there's obviously squash, where you can just get one commit, that's it. I would say, they all have their necessities and depending on what context, but Chris, I'm curious, is there any one specific that you tend to use more often than the other in industry practice?
Oh, honestly, I'd go through a different process, but generally should just be rebasing.
Mhm. So just making, so one of the reasons to do rebase is that it also makes your history look a lot more cleaner. Um, because it's showing a linear progression of how exactly your work, how exactly those changes from your local branch are being committed onto your main branch. So I suppose Git one, rebase would be more preferred. Any other questions before we move on to contributions and how we do contributions? Mm, nope, dose. I'm gonna take that as a no. Are we all following? Also, William, does that help? Did that make sense? So, awesome. Okay. If you have any other questions, please do let me know. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at how you're going to be contributing. If you are planning on working on these open source initiatives, the fundamental reason for this workshop was that you just get some hands on some exploration of Git as a whole. If you want, well, we would prefer and encourage that you contribute to these projects. But if you want to go ahead and contribute to these, you'd be doing two things. Two important things. One of them would be forking. Okay. So what forking allows you to do fundamentally is that if you're operating on a if you're working on a project, what you don't want to do is mess up the initial project. You want to work on it separately, so you can have experimentation, have all trials, anything that you want to do, you're able to do it without altering any of the code in the main repository. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and click fork right here, and what this will do is that it will literally take every single one, the files, everything that's in that repository, and it's going to put it into your GitHub. Okay, so it's going to make you the owner, but this is not connected to the other one. It's a clone. Okay, so I create fork. Okay, so you can see that they've already actually provided. So this is the main repository that you have. This one is actually the one that the dev branch that we've created for everybody, in which we're hoping to actually put in all the merge all the code into. And patch one is like working on a feature branch. That's your own personalized workspace, like we talked about. Okay? So what you would do is like you've been doing with the other branches when you were creating your own workspace. So you go here. Okay? You'd clone the repository. Okay? So git bash here. Git clone. Paste. Awesome. Course of action right there. Okay. So I put this onto my local working space. Now, if I want to go ahead and potentially alter a file, let's say I made a change and I'm very satisfied with that change, and I think that maybe GDSC should take a look at it and merge that change. I'm going to go here. I'm going to open my clone editor. I'm going to first go ahead and make a change. I don't think I have a fascinating change in place right now, but let's say we'll add something to the README just for demo purposes, okay? Create an account to access functionality of website. Smiley. So I just went ahead and altered the README file, okay? If you already have an extension on your IDE, you'll actually be able to do all your source control, so all of your version control from here. Okay. So instead, since we are working with Git Bash, I'll show that to you on Git Bash. Actually, we'll do the same way that we've been doing it, just for consistency purposes. Git Bash here. Yeah. Just as a rule of thumb, I would not change code on the main. I did do that right now. I would probably just create a branch just for my own purposes as well, just so I have a branch to work on, and then I can put it up to me. Usually that's more reasonable to do as well when you're working in a group setting, but just for good practices purposes, I went ahead and changed it on me, my bad. But nonetheless, I'm going to git add. Commit. Change to readme. Git add, git commit. I'm gonna go ahead and git push. Okay, let's take a look, see at what just happened here. This branch is one commit ahead of this one, right? So we want to probably go ahead and we added a change onto the one that we forked. What we want to do is we think that this change is very good, and we want to go ahead and add to the repository. I know it's 7 o'clock, just give me 3 more minutes, and we'll be done. But either way, so we made a change here. We probably want to create a pull request for this change, okay? So we're going to create a pull request. We want to compare across forks, okay? So we want to take the base repository, which is going to be the UTM GDSC. This is the one that we want to actually integrate into, and we want to do it from our personal repository that we forked. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and press create pull request. Okay, please fill in these. Do fill this in. These are the templates that we've made to help us figure out what changes you've made and what issue number you've tackled, all that kind of stuff. In my case, I'm just going to go ahead and create pull request. Okay. Now this pull request has been created. We on the GDSC side know that you've created a pull request. We can go ahead and take that pull request and see what kind of changes you've made, and we can integrate that code into the open source initiative. And that's how your contributions for specifically for open source is going to work. Once you've done forking, add your changes, work in branches if you'd like, use all the savvy stuff that we used, branching, merging, all that kind of stuff, and then go ahead and put those changes onto the create pull request so those changes can be added to the open source initiative. So that's the end of the workshop. How did we feel? Did we feel good? Did we feel like it was too fast? Like there was enough content? What do we think? A thumbs up, a thumbs down, a smiley face, a happy face, something along those lines that tells me how you found it. Okay, awesome. I'm very happy to see that. Please feel free to DM if you have any questions, and if you'd like to even go over just the rebasing or the merging. You can probably find me on the GDSC server anyways. And I do understand, P, that as it is a lot to take on as a beginner. Especially, I know that we have first years in the crowd, but you'll be using this very often, and it's going to become little by little, it's going to become more like second nature. But hopefully that helped. Feel free to hop off. If you want to stay on, ask any questions, have any curiosities, anything of the sort, please stick around. And if you have any questions about the open source initiative, any feedback, any suggestions, please feel free to add those as well. And yeah, thank you so much for attending and taking time out of your day. Much, much appreciated. Yes, so we will be providing the recording in either the GGSC server or the open source initiative. We will be providing content for this. Of course. And thank you for all the people who are saying have a good evening. That feels nice.